Good afternoon, folks. This is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. I'm your host, Glen Glasper, affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime. And I have with me today my esteemed guest, Mr. Idris Talib. Right. Did I say that right?
Yep.
I always got to make sure I get that right. And actually, the information that we're going to be sharing today, and I know I probably say this a couple times, but I know it's going to be phenomenal because I have a phenomenal guest. And we've actually been talking about putting this together for some time, yes. And I'm glad we finally got an opportunity to sit down together. I had to pull him by the leg and get him here and sit down with me. But I certainly appreciate you coming by, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about, Idris is the pretty house guy. And many of us that are in real estate investing, we've always talked about buying ugly houses in any situation, any circumstance, and all that. But he is the pretty house guy, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about that. So, Idris, tell us about your background and how you got started with doing all this.
Okay. So actually, growing up is quite interesting. I never actually wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Really?
I was smart. I mean, straight A's in school.
I can imagine. I can see that.
I was going to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Oh, wow.
Wow. If you make $50,000 a year, I mean, you're making it rain. I mean,
wow.
So
wow. That's rich where I'm from.
Right. So I actually went to school on an engineering scholarship, went to North Carolina State, and it wasn't until I started playing basketball.
Okay.
I walked on the basketball team. We had a private plane, flew all over the world, ate the finest restaurants.
Wow.
I said, you know what, I like this.
Yeah.
But an interesting happened. I said, I'm just going to play ball. I'm going to make millions. I'm going to live like this. But for some reason, they don't draft people who average 0.7 points a game and who appeared in 3 games.
Wait, let me see. How do they do that? 0.7 points a game?
So, one game I may score 2 points, and then the next game I may score 1, and then goose egg for like the rest of the season. So you divide it by the number of games, you're at 0.7.
Oh, wow. You'd always wonder how they did that. Like, how do you get a half a point?
Exactly.
Wow.
So, I kind of brag, I have, probably one of the lowest point totals in the history of the ACC.
Hey, listen, you got to be good at something.
Right, exactly.
If you're going to be good at something, it's good to be the worst, I guess.
Right.
You made free throws, though, right?
I think I had a 50%. I didn't get in that much. I used to encourage the starters, run the score up so I can get in.
Wow. Your basketball career was almost like mine then. But you had the height to go with yours, though.
It's funny. I was the 5th shortest person on my team.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, at least you made it to the team.
Right.
They wouldn't even let me on the court.
So it was a wonderful experience. And then in college you get these credit cards with like a $300 limit.
Oh yeah.
I kept hearing about this rich dad poor dad book. I said, let me go see what this is all about.
Wow.
And then I picked it up. I could not put it down. I ended up maxing out my credit card on every book in his series.
Wow.
And that's how I started learning about finance, becoming an entrepreneur, and things of that nature. And I learned that most millionaires are self-made.
Wow. Well, see, the thing about it is most broke people are self-made too.
That's a great point. I thought about it like that as well.
Only the millionaires admit to it.
Right.
Most broke people, they set themselves up to believe that this is hard and I can't do it, and only the rich people could do it.
Exactly.
So they become self-made as well.
Exactly. That's a good one. I never thought about it.
Right. So, it's funny, though, what you just said, and a lot of people probably look at it the same way, they probably miss it. We learn to become wealthy by paying, you said you maxed out your credit card.
Right.
Learning to become wealthy.
Right.
Well, see, it took that in order for you to learn to become wealthy.
Right.
So you had to invest in yourself in order to get over the hump. That's good stuff. So most of us that become entrepreneurs have that rich dad story or that think and grow rich story.
Right.
So what was it in the series of books that grabbed you, that made you wanted to pursue it further?
The biggest thing that really grabbed me was become great at sales, and there's no ceiling on the amount of money you can make.
Absolutely.
And that really hit home for me. I was in the technical field. Actually, I had a job offer here in Atlanta to do technical sales, but I came out when the tech bubble burst. And so as a result, not only did they have to rescind the offer, they ended up laying people off as well.
Wow.
So that's what got me into finance. I did one of the top internships in the country at Northwestern Mutual Financial Network. I was one of the top interns, and I'm going to the annual meeting I'm meeting young people, 23, 24, making 300,000, 500,000, 800,000.
Wow.
And I said, oh yeah, this is for me.
Yeah.
That's what got me into finance.
So yeah, and we talked about that a little bit. So what's your background in finance? So you said you got into finance from seeing the young folks making money.
Right.
So you wanted to tell them how to use the money, or what was it that got you into finance?
So what got me into finance, actually, I just saw it was an all-commission environment. I just loved the idea of making as much money as I want. So I still remember like it was yesterday. I sat down with a lady for about an hour. We wrote some business up, and 3 weeks later, I got a check for $800. And I was like, I just sat down with her for an hour. I made $800.
Wow.
Because where I'm from, like I said,
yeah,
you're making $10 an hour. You're doing well for yourself.
I still hear people from back home say, I got 2 jobs.
Right.
And they're excited about that. And then collectively, those 2 jobs, they're probably making $18 an hour.
Exactly.
Man, 2 jobs are for 2 people.
Exactly. It was just a wonderful experience. From there, I ended up getting a Series 6, 7, 31, 63, 65. Wow. I've been a stockbroker on Wall Street. I designed retirement plans for colleges and universities. But the thing that I've learned is the traditional way of finance, it doesn't work. It's a broken system.
Wow. Wow.
And, just like your esteemed guest last week, we share a lot of similar principles in terms of the way that we approach finance.
Okay.
Right, and that's where, real estate is a huge component.
Yes.
It's a large component, to creating financial freedom for yourself.
That's good stuff. And shout out to David Bradford, man. He gave us some great information.
Right.
So listen, we talked about how finance got you into real estate investing.
Right.
So what happened along the way to make you want to make that transition?
So actually, when I had my internship, I was a 1099. I'm thinking I have all these write-offs and everything.
Yeah.
And the accountant, she told me, well, you're going to owe $3,600 some. I said, what do you mean I have write-offs and stuff?
Right.
I didn't know anything like you have to have kids and everything. Or mortgage really writes stuff off.
Right.
And I was talking to my dad. He sent me this no money down real estate course, and it was about lease options.
Really?
And
okay.
That's how I learned about real estate. I didn't know anything else to do. I just followed every step in the book.
Yes.
And then I went through the CDs or whatever, and I just applied it.
Wow.
And I made $8,000 my first deal.
Wow, good stuff. So listen, guys, thank you all for watching. I want to make sure I do this quick plug. For those of you that are watching, go ahead and share this in the news group because, listen, we only been on here 5 minutes and he's blowing me away already. So go ahead and share this in the groups and share this on your timelines and tag Mr. Idris Talib on your page as well so that people can follow him as well. So the finance component, you said something I want to go back to real quick. You mentioned that it was commission-based.
Correct.
And you were excited about that.
Right.
Why are people afraid of commission-based opportunities when they know that the earning potential is limitless? Any take on that?
I think we get programmed into getting a consistent check every single week or every 2 weeks or however you're paid.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of scary with the thought of you're not exactly sure what you're going to make.
Right.
And I think it's just programming. One of the first questions a lot of people ask me, they say, what does the average person make? And I already tell them, you're doomed to fail if you're asking what the average person makes.
Yeah.
Because the average person, they're not at the top.
Right.
And if you're aiming to be average, you're never going to have the level of success that probably you're looking for when you're looking at something that's all commission.
Right.
You're going to have to put in an extreme amount of effort. However, if you put in that effort, you do the activity, you get better at what you're doing, then, it's only going to go up.
Definitely. And that's how I've been for quite some time. I've been an entrepreneur for some time, and it was a little scary, and it's a little scary from time to time still. And but I couldn't see myself going back to that fixed way of living when someone dictates the amount of money that you can make.
Exactly.
So in an entrepreneur, how long have you been an entrepreneur? I don't even think I asked that question.
About 16 years.
16 years. So in that time, what have you had any challenges along the way as an entrepreneur?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Definitely. So coming out of college, I made a lot of money real fast. And I don't want to get political, but the guy in the White House where he had a hit show, The Apprentice, and I always dreamed big. I was in my 20s.
Yes.
I said, I would love to do a $100 million real estate transaction.
Yes.
And then my pastor, he had a vision for the community we were at in Raleigh. He said, I want the church to be the focal point of the community. We're going to rebuild the whole community. There was a lot of drugs, prostitution, alcohol, things of that nature in the community. So I was very ambitious. I went right up to him. I said, look, you're going to need some help. I'm so committed to this. I'll quit what I'm doing and work with you 100% of the time because I know, it's going to benefit us all in the long run.
Wow. Wow.
Everyone watching, do your due diligence. Don't go on blind faith because you can get there.
Right,
but,
right.
I lost everything, and at the time I was in a relationship with my son's mother, and I was young and ambitious.
Yeah.
And she had a good job. She was a registered nurse. Stable income.
Okay.
She'll argue me. She said, that's irresponsible, and I was saying, oh, you don't believe in me, and we're going back and forth arguing.
Wow.
And,
wow.
That was really the demise of our relationship.
Okay.
Looking back on it, I will say that, and I actually, when I counsel younger guys about this, I said, look, if you have a young family sometimes, I won't tell you, I'm all about entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, from 8 to 5, do what you do or whatever, because it's going to put less stress on you. But from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. or whenever, that's when you work on your craft. That's when you perfect your craft.
Absolutely.
And I actually like Sean Terry's model. He said, when you have 1 year of your income in your bank account, then that's a pretty good indication that, you can leave.
Right. Good stuff. So for the young entrepreneur that's getting started, in as far as education, what are some kind of steps of education would you tell them to take on the path to becoming an entrepreneur? You said to perfect your craft. So of course, I imagine reading a couple books. So what are some other steps that you would say for them?
The fastest way to success is actually have a mentor who has done and been successful at what you want to do. That's the fastest way. Right. Now there is a price to pay. I will say it's an investment. There is an investment whenever you have a mentor. However, if you don't have it, you have, of course, Facebook groups, YouTube University, there's all types of meetings. You can watch shows such as this to really collect different resources. And you just got to go out and do whatever it takes to become successful. And then you'll have the resources to where if you do need to pay for a mentor, you'll be able to get a mentor. Because a faster way to success is actually let someone else go make all the mistakes, and you can learn from their mistakes, so you don't have to make those yourself.
That is great information.
That'll be my number one recommendation.
And I look at those types of situations where you have cinema entrepreneurs. I mean, especially getting in our business as far as real estate investing. People want to get in because they've heard the whole sexy model of buying houses, no money down, no cash, no credit, and all these other things, and they figure they can jump right in, and it's going to happen for them overnight. Right. What would you say to someone that came to you or that you were going to be mentoring, that they thought, in the first week that they were going to close a deal and make $50,000? Right.
So I have realistic expectations for people.
Yes.
I tell people this is a business.
Yes.
This is not something where, you see the late night infomercials, everybody's in Hawaii, you live in a 4-hour work week. Everybody said, no. This is not a 4-hour work week when you begin. Another mistake. Everyone, I want to automate, I want to delegate everything. Yes. I'm just going to sit back and the business is going to run itself. I'm like, if you don't have that firm foundation, if you don't have that foundation, everything's going to crumble. Even if you do have enough money to hire everything out, when there's problems, you're not going to identify what is the root cause of those problems. Yes. And another thing we have to be realistic also is, have you ever done sales? Have you ever done marketing? Have you ever done payroll? Have you ever done, HR? Have you ever looked at taxes? These are things that you need. And you're going to have a team of advisors to help you along the way. Absolutely. Even though, we were kind of joking about self-made millionaire. Actually, there is no self-made millionaire. Being a millionaire is a team sport. Yes. Every millionaire I know, they have some type of a team in their area of expertise. And also for yourself, you want to see, what is your area of that you're just naturally gifted at? Because we all have different gifts, talents, and abilities. And whereas someone may have success doing some, maybe a little bit faster because of their background. You may not, but maybe in another area you will. And you just have to take an honest assessment of that. And that's where you team up with individuals in which your weaknesses or their strengths, as long as you can come together, you can make money for yourself.
That's great. The challenge is that coming together piece.
Right, because we're dealing with human beings.
Right.
That's the challenge. That's the largest challenge.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about getting into doing pretty houses as opposed to. So you said you learned lease options.
Right.
Is that what led you to pretty houses as opposed to what the rest of us common people work on? Is these ugly houses?
It's funny. I didn't even know you can make money off a house less than $100,000.
Wow.
I didn't realize that until about 8 years doing the business.
Wow.
So I was always doing houses 150 or above, and this was in Raleigh, North Carolina. But then especially as my financial background, I started to get more sophisticated. I said, you know what? There's not as much effort to do a higher price house than a lower price house, and I can actually make more money.
Right.
I kind of have a thing where I show people where I can show how I can get a rehab profit without doing the rehab.
Wow. Tell me how you do that, man.
Well, it's a price.
Can we say it in front of all these people?
We can. I'm going to drop a nugget. So if we look at a jumbo loan, a jumbo loan is somewhere over $425,000 or above. So let's just say we're looking at a $500,000 house. If someone's looking at a $500,000 house, they're going to have to put 10 to 20% down, which is between $50,000 and $100,000 down. Make sure y'all taking notes now.
Yeah.
Go get you a list of non-owner occupieds in those neighborhoods.
Wow.
More than likely, they're probably paying rent. And then you can actually
on a $500,000 house.
You'd be surprised.
Wow. Okay.
Remember, we're in Atlanta.
Yes. Absolutely. You're right.
People here, they look the part.
They got a Lamborghini parked in the driveway.
They may not have the credit.
Yeah. Exactly.
They may not qualify for financing.
Yes.
And it may not just be that they have bad credit. They may have started a business. They don't want to show all the money that they really make. They're writing off everything as losses, but they have the cash flow to afford a $3,500 a month payment.
Absolutely.
And by identifying those individuals, you may not get a lot, but even out of a pool of 25, you should get about 2 or 3 who are interested in, learning how they can rent to own their own home. I mean, imagine spending $40,000 a year in rent.
Wow. And and the thing about it, there are lots of people, what we're understanding now in our market, that a lot of people are renting these types of houses where they're only going to be there for maybe 3 to 6 months out of the year. And they're traveling to different places doing different things. So that makes sense. A lot of them, they don't want to buy because of, some of them are entertainers and, sports figures and things like that they do things like that. And they just need that house for that specific time that they're traveling back and forth. And they can afford to pay that monthly rent. How do people find those types of people?
Well, what I do is, so for those type of people, you're going to have to really.
I think we're getting into the paid course right here, y'all.
Actually, I will give y'all this though. So one of the things I've been doing is corporate rentals and Airbnb arbitrage strategy. So that's actually the vehicle that we use in terms of identifying these individuals. A lot of them, you have to be connected with some of their professionals. The accountants, the attorneys, people in the industry, things of that nature. Like, for example, Emory itself. Emory, they have a lot of physicians that come in that may stay somewhere as an adjunct professor 6 to 9 months. One thing I know is when they leave, Emory will buy the house from them.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different situations. Another thing like traveling nurses. Traveling nurses, they may come somewhere for assignment for like 3 to 6 months at a time.
Wow.
That's another source. So you just got to kind of put your thinking cap on, and you can find different pockets of people who, for one, they're looking for houses like that, and for two, the owners of the house, they may need to dispose of those houses, but they're not ready to sell it.
Got it. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to find out how we get in the real course and learn how to get this information and how to do the steps to doing all these things. So we'll be right back. I know I probably cut early. Did I cut early?
Just a few minutes, but you didn't mention any events. So you kind of mentioned that after you come back?
Yeah, I'll do it after I come back.
Okay.
Is it where I should put it? Is it where I should put it? Yeah. Okay. And we're back, folks. Thank you all for being with us. Real quick announcement, I got to tell you guys about some events that are coming up October 9th. Don't forget to check us out at Catalyst. Catalyst is going to be at Maggiano's in Buckhead. We have Chantel Owens is going to be coming in talking about tax lien investing. And then we have the Wonder Women of Real Estate event that's going to be at the Coconut Grill in Norcross, where we're going to have a panel of all women where they're going to be discussing all the different areas of real estate investing. So you definitely don't want to miss that, October 9th and October 13th. We'll be sure to make sure you get that information. So back to what we were talking about. So is there a course that you teach?
Yes, I have a Pretty Profits, Pretty Houses course that, is available. It's actually a coaching program.
Really? Really? Okay. Can we talk about how much it is?
You know what? I'll tell you what.
Now, you don't got to give up too much information now.
I'll make a deal for anyone watching this. You have to mention Glen Glasper before you can actually take advantage of this deal.
Oh, wow.
So
normally, y'all better be lucky y'all get to watch this show.
Normally, I'm not going to, it's up there. The price between, depending on the package, it'd be anywhere between $5,000 or $18,000. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer some type of a discount as well as a payment plan for people who are serious.
Okay. So we won't tell you how much that is right now, but what you can do is leave your contact information below, or what we'll do is we'll leave your contact information once we wrap up. Stick around, we'll get his contact information so you can reach out to him directly. But from what I'm listening to right now and hearing, I'm telling you, I know it's well worth it, because he's dropping some major stuff. And in order to find these different things, I mean, people have to really have somebody to guide them into doing that. Right. And what needs to be understood is that the investment in what you're going to be able to get access to is going to be well worth it. Well worth it. So make sure you guys, take advantage of this. He's giving you a great opportunity because you're watching a real life real estate investing show. So what are some of the other, so Pretty Houses, that's your primary niche.
Right.
So do you market to people just in the, what's the price range of neighborhood do you typically look in?
Okay. So I'll kind of give you my formula. My formula is on the lowest level, I want to make at least $5,000 to $10,000 off every deal.
Got it.
So what I look at is, I take just a quantitative analysis of things. Anyone who lives in a house that's $250,000 or above, more than likely that's a household income of $100,000 or more. People who make $100,000 or more, it's easier for them to save $5,000 to $10,000.
Right.
That's just it's just demographics. So I'll look at houses anywhere $250,000 or above. The higher the better. My sweet spot is probably between $350,000 and $500,000.
Right.
Now, in terms of the particular locations, I look at school districts, because in Atlanta, most of the houses that appreciate at the fastest level are in the best school districts.
Yes.
So most of them actually is in the suburbs.
Okay.
Like East Cobb, Alpharetta, up here in Gwinnett County. Let's see, Smyrna, Vinings. Even down south can be good too. Fayetteville, Fairburn, down in Camp Creek, Cascade.
Right.
Just different pockets.
Okay. And you look at now, and that's you said he used some engineering terms, y'all. I hope y'all caught that. He said quantitative analysis. But that makes sense though. And typically people don't look outside of what they've been, like you said, they've been programmed to look at, where we have to buy a property at a certain price to do the fix and flip, that 6 to 9 month process.
Right.
So what is do you look for houses? Of course, they're pretty houses, but is there any type of rehab that has to be done to these houses at all?
9 times out of 10, no.
Wow.
If there's anything that needs to be done, usually it's cosmetic, and I don't do it.
Really?
Either the owner of the house is going to do it, or the tenant buyer who's going to get in, they're going to do it. Now, if it's minor stuff, like the grass may need to be mowed, or just some light cleanup, or with a nicer house, I may go in, put in some brighter light bulbs, and little stuff like that. I'll be willing to do that.
Wow.
But that's it.
So you said the owner may do it. So is that part of the negotiation? You get the owner to do the work?
Yeah, I'll tell them. I'll say, you know what? It looks like there's some minor repairs that need to be done. Either you can do this yourself, or if you don't want to do it, I'll still put the house on the contract, and then I'll make sure it gets done.
Wow.
And basically, I'm just going to move that over to the person who's actually going to occupy the house. And one of my rules is I'm transparent with everyone with every single thing I'm doing.
Wow.
I let them know
Wow.
that I'm not living in the house. I
Mm-hmm.
am going to make a profit off of your house.
Right,
Are you okay
right,
with that?
Mm-hmm.
And those are my intentions.
That's good stuff. So he goes with that Jedi mind trick on them to get those.
But no, you'll be amazed at what you're able to do, and it's more so about, are they motivated and actually open up their mind to another way of being able to sell their house.
Right.
Because there's only 5 ways that most people know how to get rid of a house. Either for sale by owner, list it with a realtor, rent it out yourself, with a property management company, and if you can't afford the payments, give it back to the bank.
Wow.
But there's pros and cons to every single approach, and we'll go over those. And once we eliminate all their options, then I'll present them with something, and it's a done deal.
Absolutely. Good stuff. So do you typically go after pre-foreclosures? Is that a good part of your?
I have before. The only challenge I had, since a lot of them were upper end, they're in gated communities, and you have to get in contact with those owners.
Got it.
Now that's a great strategy as far as how you can get the deed.
Okay.
The pre-foreclosures. But normally, I'm gonna give this away to y'all too. This is a little nugget or whatever. People say, well, how do you find all these houses and everything? Every person who says my house is for sale, they want to sell their house. I contact them. That's it. I contact them. So my marketing costs almost nil.
Wow, you'd be surprised how much work people put in to locating houses when it's just that simple.
Right.
So we put in the work to contact these people who've never told us that they wanted to sell their house.
Right.
So we pay thousands of dollars sending out mail pieces, and you're saying all we got to do is call the ones that want to sell, huh?
Right. Yeah, they're saying my house is for sale. My name is Jim Jones. It's at 123
Right.
Main Street, 678-999-9999. I'm picking up the phone, and it's not a cold call.
Right.
A cold call is what I did at Morgan Stanley.
Yes.
Right? So
oh, wow.
you're not expecting me. You have no idea of my existence. And he goes, well, I may interrupt. You're not interrupting them. They put their phone number online.
Right.
They want to sell their house.
Wow. Wow. Think about how simple that is. How simple that is when someone is already marketing it for sale.
Right.
And all you're doing is picking up and calling on an ad that they placed for themselves. Yeah, that changes the game right there.
Right.
So we can end this show right here because I'm about to go make some calls. So is that like for sale by owners? Is that what you're looking at? Okay.
Yes. For sale by owner, for rent by owner.
Okay.
One trend I have been seeing lately is I'm starting to see real estate agents really starting to get hip to the game as well.
Okay.
So sometimes I have to educate them on how it can be mutually beneficial to all parties involved. So some of them are getting on board, and that's been a great source of referrals as well. And I even work with wholesalers also.
Really?
Right. Yeah, I work with
wholesalers. Pretty houses?
Yeah, because you think about it, they throw away all those leads that they're not able to get 70, 65 cents on the dollar. Sometimes people, they may be over leveraged.
Yes.
If there's repairs that need to be made, we can work something out to figure out how those repairs can be made, and we still make a profit.
Good stuff. Man, I think you probably gave away about 50% of the course right there.
Oh, it's a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, you really get the nuts and bolts of how it all comes together.
Right.
But I mean, it's really, I believe you're open the eyes to a lot of people. I mean, even myself, about different ways to look at how we do our business as opposed to that one-shot way of just going after the houses that typically everybody in the pool of investors is looking for.
Right.
And I mean, your competition, I imagine it's not much at all.
Yeah, it's slim to none. And another thing that I do also is I actually have created a whole financial strategy to show people how they can actually, create financial independence for themselves, utilizing this strategy.
Wow.
Because it's really, 3 main components. For most people, we have to, name my book is Make Your Money Great.
Yes, I want to talk about that.
Basically, stop keeping up with the Joneses, but become the Joneses.
Wow.
And you can do it in a financially responsible manner. We're going to help you make more money, show you where to place that money, and then show you how you can have asset-based cash flows for yourself. And that's the exit strategy.
Wow.
You want to be able to grow your money so you can buy an asset that produces passive cash flow.
Wow.
And once you have that more than your expenses, game over, you're done.
Again, I love how you make things so very simple. And that's the thing, you know, when you look at, I mean, as we were talking about, you know, people making a certain amount of money on their jobs. When you look at the amount of bills that we have and the amount of money that we make on our job, and, you know, looking at that from a transitional perspective and looking at if I make X amount of dollars on my job, I should be able to cover all of my bills.
Right.
And in many cases, you make more on your job than you do on than your bills are.
Right.
But many times people fall behind on those things.
Right.
I think, in my opinion, is because life always happens, even in the midst of you're going to work
Right.
and those bills compiling up. You know, if you had something that's set in place that was passive residual that covered your bills before you even got out of bed,
Right.
you wouldn't have those issues.
Exactly. Exactly.
So how does one get? I mean, aside from developing the mindset to do
Right.
it, how does one create a system? You know, from your financial perspective, how does one create some type of system that they can get in place to have that passive residual situation happen for them?
So step one is we have to identify our financial blind spots. And basically a financial blind spot is...
Come on, y'all got to pay $1,000 for that right there. For that your blind spot?
Actually, our colleague David Bradford brought some up. It's money
yes.
that you're transferring unknowingly and unnecessarily.
Right.
Once you're able to recoup those dollars, that's money that you can actually use to save, you know, maybe pay down debt, or, you know, maybe be able to buy some type of an asset that does produce cash flow for yourself. You know, another thing is I view things a little bit differently. You know, for example, the magic number everybody wants when they retire is $1 million.
Yeah.
But if we look at $1 million, you only want to take 5% of that, which is like $50,000.
Right.
If you have all that saved in your retirement plan, you're paying taxes on that. And then, if that's 25 years from now, you index that for inflation, you reduce the buying power by half.
Wow.
So you saved $1 million, you penny pinched all your life, and you have the cash flow around $21,000, you know, annually. And you've done all that. There has to be a better way. And as we live our lives on cash flow.
Yeah.
We got residual bills. Why don't we have residual income to offset those bills?
Yes.
And the number one, you know, destroyer of wealth is actually consumer debt.
Yes.
Now, debt can be good or bad. But consumer debt, because what consumer debt is, it's an obligation on your future earnings. So basically, your paycheck is going down every time you take on those liabilities. Now, I'm not saying don't have some of those things, but what I'm saying is if you know that, let's just say you want to ball out and get a Porsche or something, let's find an asset to pay for that Porsche. It's the Robert Kiyosaki model.
Absolutely.
And that's something that can be applied that we can actually do. And even if you're starting off small and you want to get into being able to purchase these assets or whatever, let's just say your goal is $5,000 a month passive income. What's easier, trying to save up, you know, $1 million to have that $5,000 a month? Or is it easier, maybe you have a membership site at $4.99 to get 1,000 customers. They're going to get $5,000 a month passive. So sometimes you have to think outside the box to be able to achieve your financial goals.
That is amazing. That's amazing. And I hope folks are paying attention to this information. I mean, because again, I love how you make it so simple. A membership site at, what was it, $4.99?
$4.99.
1,000 people.
1,000 people. Even if it takes you 10 years to do that, you're winning.
And think about the way that technology and information is being transferred all the time. It's not hard to get 1,000 people to pay $4.99 a month.
Investing does not have to be difficult. Or some of us, we're just starting off. We don't have a lot of money. I have $500. What can I invest in? I said, you don't need to put your money. We're going to get 10%. That's $50. That's probably a tank of gas.
Right.
What I tell you to do, especially if it's hot in the summertime, you go become a vendor at a track meet. You go buy $500 worth of bottled water. You sell that bottled water. You go to Sam's Club. You can get a pack of 20. You can get a 24 pack for $2.
Wow.
So that's a 12x multiplier. Off that 5,000, I mean off that 500 times 12, $6,000.
Wow. And if you put my company name on the label, I'll buy the water for you.
Right. You know, you have to think outside the box.
Yes, indeed.
You turn 500 into 6,000. Now you can pay me for my program.
Right.
But you know, you just have to, be willing to think outside the box.
Yes, yes. And you know, one of the things that I love that Jim Rohn says is if you work hard on your job, you make an income. But if you work harder on yourself, you can make a fortune.
Exactly.
You know, and the thing that I look at when people put so much energy in working hard on their job and dedicating themselves to an employer, if they've looked at some of the things that you're talking about and applying those things and just trying something simple,
Right.
and creating some income from that, then that could be what causes them to not have to be subject to someone else.
Exactly.
You know, it's amazing. You're talking some real good stuff, man.
Exactly.
So I hope they're paying attention, and I want them to make sure they get this information. And that course is, I'm going to say it's $25,000. I'm just kidding. I can't set the price for it. But if it's $25,000, we going to have an affiliate program.
Most definitely. Right. But I mean, some of us are blessed with certain skill sets. Like, for example, my skill, I'm a deal maker and I can sell.
Yeah.
Now, I understand operations. I'm not the most detail-oriented person. I used to design retirement plans for colleges and universities. That was my first actual job. You're looking at someone, I've been fired from every job I've ever had in my life. And started at McDonald's.
Congratulations.
No, so like at 16 at McDonald's, I could not.
So couldn't get it together, right?
Out my mouth. I mean, yeah, so you know, I'm not glad I'm a horrible employee. That's, you know, I know myself. I have to work for myself because I'm bad. Last job I had, it lasted one day.
Man, listen. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I worked at McDonald's for one day. I was like, why is everybody else able to get a job at McDonald's except me? I got a job at McDonald's. I was fired for my first day.
Oh, yeah. Well, I lasted a little longer. And then, Mom, if you're watching this, they ain't really cut my hours. I got fired. And I didn't get that last check because I was too embarrassed to turn my dickies in and my shirt and uniform. So,
all the stuff that get revealed on the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show.
That's how 22 years ago. So, and McDonald's Corporation, y'all got my check. So,
he needs his $22.
I'm gonna find y'all those dickies and I'm gonna turn it in.
Good stuff. And I got fired from McDonald's for my one day. I got fired from Burger King. I got fired from Hardee's. I couldn't keep a fast food job, man.
Like to eat. Woo,
well, see, I guess that was the problem too. I was eating all the food.
Right. Yep.
Well, y'all let me eat it. I didn't steal it all the time.
It's funny. I actually own the restaurant. I own the
really.
I own the Quiznos. I've done a lot. I've imported hair extensions from India and resold them.
Wow.
I've owned different tax agencies. I've owned physician groups. I've owned mental health agencies.
Really.
So,
well, you know, I want to go back. We glazed over it a little bit, but I want to go back to the definite qualifications that you have to talk to people about finances. You talked about Series 6 and Series 36 and Series 99. I don't know what none of that stuff is. Right. Tell us a little bit about what that is, your qualifications.
Let me tell you what all these licenses mean. I can study and take a test. That's all it means.
Okay.
Seriously. Because let's really think about it. We're talking about dealing with all the money that you've saved all your life. You know, y'all worked hard for all of for your money.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you've worked hard for your money.
Yes.
And all we got to do is pick up a book, read it, do some online tests and everything, and we're qualified to give you financial advice.
Wow.
Really think about that.
Wow.
Actually, been an entrepreneur. I've made millions. Well, I've lost millions.
Yes.
And I've made it back. And I know what it's really like to sit in your shoes. I'm not here just trying to sell you some type of the latest and greatest financial product. No,
right.
I need to teach you a strategy, and we have a process to help you reach your goals.
Yes.
And we do things based off of a cash flow basis. Everything I do is based off cash flow, because waiting until you're 65 and 70, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. However, I don't know anyone my age, I'm 38 years old, who wants to climb a corporate ladder and wait until they're 65 to 70 to enjoy life. Most people I know.
I think something wrong with that.
Right.
I don't know. I think something wrong with that. Yeah. Well, I mean, and just from a perspective of knowing, like in today's day and age, knowing that there's something else that's available,
right,
and you choose to wait till 65 to live your life.
Yeah, I was talking to a college buddy of mine. I was talking to him. I said, you know, we should sit down and talk. I said, man, I've been in my job for 13 years, and you know, I only got 20 more to go. And I was like,
oh my God, I hear that. I'm like, I pass out. Like,
Right. I was like, so you're telling me you know what you're going to make every single month for the next
20 years.
You know, there's, you know, I mean, you know, it is what it is,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, that's not the path, you know, that I'm on.
Right,
And that's
right.
not on the paths that a lot of people that I know are on as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, I talk about that, you know, and speaking to some of my students, you know, in real estate, and I try to drive home to them, you know, I'm a different type of mentor. You know, some people think that I'm supposed to call them every day and find out what they're doing, and, you know, like I'm not that kind of mentor. If you know that you need to get out of bed, it's up to you to make money, then you need to get out of bed to do what you need to do. You know, and I talk about I give them tips and tricks and ideas and things to do, you know, but it's like, sometimes you still have to motivate people to get what they already said that they wanted.
Exactly.
Oh, what do you think about that?
No, I'm with you 100%. You know, my thing is, it's more about accountability. I can't force you to do anything.
Right.
I can
right,
lay
right.
out the blueprint, and I can hold you accountable to what you say that you are going to do. You
Wow.
know, and you know,
Wow.
a lot of us, you know, they need that discipline, you know, in their life. Because remember, discipline is a form of love.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know, by me holding them accountable to what they say that they want to do, you know, that's me showing that, you know, I really love you. I care about what you say your dreams and goals are, and I'm gonna hold you accountable when you're not doing what it takes. However, those aren't my dreams and goals.
Right.
I can't be the one
right,
getting
right.
up, calling you, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Have you done that?
Right.
It's either, you know, you're either gonna make money or excuses, but you can't do both.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna make sure somebody type that in for me. I want somebody make sure somebody put that down below. Either you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. You know, one of my business partners used to say it this way: you can't have a $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic.
Right. That is so true. No, that is so true. That
Right,
is so
right,
true.
right. So I want to hear about like Series 6. That gives you the ability to sell securities. Is that what that is?
Well, those are more so variable type of products. So you're able to do mutual funds with that, and you're able to do variable annuities, and then you can do variable life insurance.
Got it,
Series 7 is your full securities license, where
Okay.
you can do almost everything. Now, Series 65, you're a registered investment advisor. So as a Series 6, a Series 7, those are brokerage type of transactions. Basically what that means is the only time the advisors pay is when a security is bought and sold. It's basically transactional. That's why there's so much encouragement on, you got to move this, you got to move that, you got to move this, you got to move that. It may not be in the person's best interest. Whereas when someone is more fee-based, you know, they're getting a management fee of, you know, all of your money, no matter if you're buying or selling or staying put, because at different times, depending on the market, it's going to dictate what your strategy needs to be.
So, I think we went into it a little bit. So, what guided you along the path of getting all of those licenses, and are they applicable to what you're doing today?
So, what led me to the path was, first of all, when I saw someone 24 years old making $800,000, he provided me what he had, and I said, that's what I want.
Right.
So I went after it like that. And then I've had an interesting transition in terms of financial services. You know, I started off on the insurance side, then I went to the comprehensive planning side, then I went into the wealth management, stockbroker side. So I've seen every single side of the table.
Wow.
And plus, actually been an entrepreneur going into business as well. It's given me great insight into things. Now, I've actually dropped all of my licenses except the Series 65 because I don't want to be under the dominion of a broker-dealer. Because I have to report to them every single thing that I do and say, you can't do this, you can't do this, we want you to do this. You know, I'm not looking for an order taker. I'm looking to be, you know, purely independent, where I can actually meet with my clients and I can actually give them the best advice that they need to help them reach their goals. But on the other hand, I'm still a fiduciary. So what that means is I have to do things in the best interest of my clients. I have to.
Got it. So are you allowed to like pool funds and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. Give us a little more insight on how that works.
So in terms of that works, what we'll do is there has to be some type of investment objective.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
why are we pulling this money together? What's our objective?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the potential risks?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, what are the potential rewards?
Got it.
You know, and then with that, you know, what is going to be the entity that is going to tie everybody's money up to where it can be fully, so there's full accountability, so we're not running any Bernie Madoff type things.
Got it. So does any of those folks have to be accredited investors, would you say?
It depends on the type of investment.
Okay.
So all of that depends on the type of investment, and then it also depends on how we are gathering funds as well.
Okay. Give us an example of how something like that would work.
So what I used to do, this was before the market crashed. I used to syndicate a lot of real estate deals, and basically what that meant was I identified people who had money, and then I identified individuals like, it was a lot of developers who had projects who needed finance. You know, most developers, a bank is going to give them about 70 or 80% of the project, so they need to come out of pocket 20 or 30%. So I'll bring in that private investor to put in that 20 or 30%. That allows 100% financing for the developer to go from project to project to project to project to project.
Good stuff.
And throughout that time, if the developer did not have sufficient experience doing that scope of project, I'll bring in a management team and a management company to oversee everything to protect my investors.
Wow. And you put all that together. That sounds like what Donald Trump did.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just making deals.
The Donald Trump we used to know.
Right. You know, the problem with him is, you know, he'll bankrupt the company. Oh, sorry, you know. But you know that is. But you know, that's how something. So that a lot of that was under it's called a Reg D offering, and Regulation D offering, and that's just the code under the taxes that it's under. But that did require you to become an accredited investor to participate in some of those. Now I know, especially with the crowdfunding and everything, you know, a lot of those regulations have been, you know, loosened somewhat. Got
it. So let's talk about it a little bit. Can we go into that? I know you're a pretty houses guy, but man, you're giving us some great information.
Hey,
so we go across the board a little bit. And for the sake of the people that are watching, I want to kind of make sure they get a grasp on some of the information that you're sharing. So can you explain to the folks what an accredited investor is? And we've already talked about ways that they could become one.
Right.
So explain to the folks what an accredited investor is, and then we'll talk about some of the relaxed situations for crowdfunding.
Okay. An accredited investor is someone who has a net worth of $1 million or an income of $250,000. You know, you'll meet the classification of an accredited investor. Also, that gives you an opportunity to get involved in certain type of investments that aren't privy to the everyday, you know, average investor. You know, it'll still be a securities offering. You know, everything has to be written up as a security, and then because of your income and net worth, there is an assumption that you have the financial wherewithal and sophistication to know if this is a worthy investment.
You know, I was an accredited investor some time ago, and I'm not going to tell them now. I was an accredited investor some time ago, and I used to get all these phone calls. Actually, still today I get these phone calls. We have these options and that you can invest in pork bellies and things like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I don't know about no pork bellies.
Yeah, they're managed futures.
Yeah, they call me about drilling in different areas of the country and all different things that, you know. So those are types of phone calls. So if you never got those phone calls, you're not an accredited investor.
And now because of the internet, it's easy to identify accredited investors.
Yes.
I can pull a list just like that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can stay off that list. I don't want people knowing.
Exactly.
So crowdfunding. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about crowdfunding and some of the requirements. All right, so we'll be right back after these messages. All right, are we good? Man, this is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. You give up some great information.
I've been doing a little bit.
Good. Okay. All right, count us back in.
5, 4, 3.
One second. Is there any direction that you want to go now? Because I don't know how much time we have.
Well, after this commercial, we have 15 minutes.
Okay. Is there anything?
I guess I can get more into like kind of the book and some of the things.
That's what. Yeah. I want to bring that up, and I want to make sure, you know, because we're going to tie it all in. For editing's sake, I know the editor's going to watch this. For editing's sake, when we talk about the book, we're going to make sure, because we have a little thing that's going to pop up with
Oh,
the
okay,
cover of the
okay,
book and everything.
good.
All right, we're back, folks. Thank you for joining us on the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. Thank you all for sticking around. And don't forget to go ahead and share this in your news feeds. Make sure you share this in the groups. Give us some likes. Give us some hearts. Tell us where you're watching from. We want to know where the people are watching from in the audience. And I want to make sure we tell you guys again about the events that are coming up. October 9th, Catalyst is going to be at Maggiano's in Buckhead. That's going to be from 11:30 to 1:30. It's a great buffet and it's going to be great information. We have Chantel Owens. We call her the Queen of Tax Liens. Is going to be sharing some great information about tax lien investing. And then we have October 13th, we have the Wonder Women of Real Estate. We have an amazing panel of women that's going to be sharing all different areas of real estate investing. And then we're going to get into talking about some of the market trends that are happening and what the bubble is going to do, if there's going to be a bubble, and all those types of situations. So definitely come out and, to those events, and we'll be sharing some great information with you. So what we were talking about before the commercial was crowdfunding. Now that kind of ties into what you were saying a little bit about syndication and things like that. So how does crowdfunding work?
So crowdfunding, it's an opportunity in which, I don't want to call it guy, but the smaller guy actually has an opportunity to get involved with some of these investment deals that are going on.
Okay.
You can pull a large amount of people, their capital together, and then you're able to invest in these projects, and then you're able to participate in, whatever the promises were made, in the agreement. So crowdfunding really got big. I'm gonna tell you, one of the people who really mastered this was actually when Barack Obama was running for president.
Wow.
It was, a long time ago. They'll have these, dinners for, to raise money, and then, it'll be $2,500 a plate.
Wow.
But then Obama, because of online marketing, give us $3, give us $2, give us $5, and he was smashing all types of financial records because so many people had an opportunity to give towards the campaign.
Right.
And that's a great example of how crowdfunding can be an efficient model, for the person who needs the money to do the project. As well, it allows, almost anyone virtually to be able to participate in some of these investment opportunities and not lose out.
Wow. So would you say the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is an example of crowdfunding?
Right, that's a great example, and we all saw how successful that was.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
Was very, Jay Morrison is doing a substantial job with that.
Got to get you on the show, Jay. We're looking for you to be on the show, Jay.
Definitely.
No, that's good stuff, man. And I was blown away by how that was put together and how well organized things were, or are, and they're still coming together. So shout out to Jay Morrison and the Tulsa Fund. So now, do you have any experience with doing? Well, you did some syndication.
Not
so
with I've never done anything with crowdfunding. I have an idea. Maybe we could actually talk with this about.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I've been seeing is I'm going to actually start putting together a package. I'm going to allow people to invest in development of some salon suites.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm looking at right now. It's great for It's great for monthly cash flow, as well as we're looking to own the building as well.
That's good stuff.
So there can be some upside potential for anyone who may be interested in participating with that. But more details will be followed. As we start to identify the exact locations. We'll put together a scope of service, and then once we have that put in place, then we can start with our investment offering.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I'll be interested in taking a look at something like that. So we're going to get into one more topic, but then we want to make sure we talk to the folks about the book that you wrote.
Okay.
I was like, Jay, Idris, we got to get you on the show to talk about the book. And I think you were finishing it up around the time we talked about it. So did you bring a copy with you today?
No, actually, I have it on Amazon. I'm getting everything actually uploaded for the hardcover, the physical book.
Okay, good. So we're going to tell you guys about how to get the book, so make sure you stick around. So let's talk about Airbnb.
Right.
You mentioned that a little earlier with what you're doing as far as pretty houses.
Right.
How does the two come together? It's so amazing that you thinking about how to talk about it.
No, I'm worried a tear may come out of my eye.
Right.
This is so emotional. You remember back in the day, there's a song by Naughty by Nature, you down with OPP?
Right.
So basically,
Other
with
people's
Airbnb, yes, you're making money from other people's property.
Yes.
I'm down with OPP. Are you down with OPP? Do you want to get down with OPP?
Right.
So the wonderful thing about it, let's just think about how the landscape of finances has totally changed. You got Uber, they own no cars. Airbnb, they own no real estate.
Wow.
You know, you have all,
Wow.
and you can actually participate with that without owning the property yourself. I call it Airbnb arbitrage. It's not something that I came up with. I've just taken what I've learned and I've ran with it in another direction.
Wow.
However, with that being said, and I'll just give people the skinny, because this is what they're going to charge you all this money for. Basically, you can you're finding somebody, you're getting a long-term rental, and then you're able to get the opportunity to lease it with short-term rentals, and you pocket the spread. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, that's the main concept. Now,
What's the landlord say about that?
now you tell them exactly what you're doing.
Really?
Right. And one of the ways that I incentivize the landlord, see, I'm always thinking win-win-win. Let's just say, for example,
Say that again. Say that again,
it
please.
has to be win-win-win for everyone.
Man, I love that.
Winning for the seller,
Yes.
winning for tenant buyer, funder, whoever. You got to win.
Absolutely.
Believe me.
Absolutely.
Now, some of us may have 501c3s. I'm a for-profit entity.
Right.
You should be a for-profit entity. And even if you are a nonprofit entity, you need profit coming into your
Definitely.
nonprofit so you
Absolutely.
can service more people, provide more programs, and more resources for the
Yes.
individuals that you serve.
Yes. Yes. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Right.
So what is the landlord? What were you saying? The
normally
landlord
what
says.
So normally I'll say to the landlord, I'll say, you know what? I see that you have this house for $1,200. Glenn, I would like to show you a way, and well, before I even make any assumption or whatever, would it be okay if I could show you a way where maybe I could possibly give you $1,500, $1,600 off this?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. When can we sit down and talk?
Yesterday.
Right. And basically, that's why I go to them. I say, I'm not your normal tenant. I'm an individual. I would like to lease this out long term,
Right.
and then I would like to have the opportunity to do short term leases. I have a lot of different people. They may come here for corporate events. They may come here for business events. And what I would like to do is give them a piece of home, actually in Atlanta as a resident here in Atlanta.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And then, I'll just tell them, one of the positives on it is they're not going to be using a lot of your appliances or breaking stuff up and everything. And it depends on you. We can have a no smoking policy. There may be no pets. That's generally up to you.
Wow. Wow.
One of the things that I do, I'm also going to put an electronic lock on the door. So we can monitor who's coming in and out, when they're coming in and out as well.
Got it.
So there's a lot of nuances to it, and the good thing is I take care of everything whatsoever. You don't have to worry about anything whatsoever. We're going to make sure after each person leaves, we're going to have a professional cleaning service come in and clean your place. More than likely, they're only going to use, the bathroom, maybe watch some TV and lay down. That's about it.
Good stuff.
And
Good stuff.
I can't tell people, some will, some won't. So what? There's 6 million homes in Atlanta.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you have to incentivize even further with the higher security deposit or anything like that? You ever had to do something like that?
So
we asking too many deep questions.
No.
Okay.
It's not. Most programs will tell you do. I have a way where they even pay me to have the opportunity to do it.
Wow. Wow.
Now you got to get a course for
That's
that.
right. That's right.
I actually have another way to where we'll partner up. I give this one away. You could, if you don't have any money whatsoever, just partner up with them. Say we'll split 50-50. I'll do all the work.
Really? And you mean with the landlord?
And just tell them your only responsibility is you're going to have to furnish it. I put the furnishing on them.
Wow. Wow.
And it's all about posturing sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll look at them and say, you know what, Glenn, that's not how I do business. But if you're able to furnish it, I'll be happy to split everything with you 50-50.
Wow. That's good stuff. I'm actually working on something like that with some partners in Detroit. People are like, how are people doing Airbnb in Detroit? But folks,
Well,
that's people aren't realizing that Detroit is not dead, y'all.
Right,
Like,
it's hot.
it's people still living in Detroit. It's not, what's the name of the show where the zombies walk around?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, Dan Gilbert is putting in so much money.
Right. Yeah. You know, there's still people online that are saying that, you know, some of our colleagues are saying that don't invest in Detroit. Detroit is dead.
They're missing out.
Like, what are you guys thinking about?
They're
Like,
missing out.
it's hit the bottom.
Exactly.
When that city was on the verge of bankruptcy, on the verge, they didn't actually file bankruptcy,
Right.
but they were on the verge of bankruptcy. And if it went all the way to the bottom, where can you go from there?
You can only go up.
Only go up.
Only.
Only go up. And it's coming up, you know, it's at a good pace, at a really good
Right.
pace. And I mean, it's outpacing a lot of other areas in the country. So, you know, definitely look at investing in Detroit. If I
Definitely.
got to give you that nugget, I'll be
Definitely.
there next month. So let's get back and talk about the book.
Right.
This book, I've been waiting to hear all about it.
Right. This book is going to give us what we really want. Like I said, we need to stop keeping up with the Joneses, but we can be the Joneses in a financially responsible manner. And it's
Yes.
all about the velocity of money. We don't just want our money to sit there in some account and let it just grow forever. You know, I know Albert Einstein said, you know, the eighth wonder in the world is compound interest. But what if you had, what if you have an opportunity to get to enjoy that compound interest, but at the same time have access to money in which you can have passive cash flow for yourself as well? That way you get your cake and you eat it too.
Definitely.
Because we look at what happened with the last real estate crash, everybody's money was trapped in those houses. And when those houses didn't go up in value, you couldn't refinance out your position
Right.
and you couldn't pay your lender.
Absolutely.
But what if your
Absolutely.
money's not trapped inside those houses, but you still have that money growing for you and you also have access to that money?
Wow.
Your money
Wow.
needs to have liquidity, use, and control.
Wow.
Those are the components. And you know, and we're talking about good debt and bad debt. If you let's look at Apple, for example. Apple is the first $1 trillion company in the
Yes.
history of this
Yes.
planet. I know Amazon just hit that cap rate as well. But
Amazon hit the
nonetheless,
trillion? Wow.
about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
But nonetheless,
Wow.
if we go look at their balance sheet, you can go to CNBC.com, pull up their balance sheet. You'll notice they have $268 billion of cash, but they have $100 billion of liabilities as well.
Yes.
Why are they borrowing money? It's quite simple. They're borrowing money because the cost of that debt is cheaper than what they're making off that money.
Wow.
But at any time, they can pay cash and wipe it all out.
Absolutely.
And we can do
Absolutely.
the same things ourselves. If one of the most profitable companies of all time is doing that, we can do that for ourselves as well, you know, on a smaller
Yes.
scale.
Yes.
And that's, you know, that's the whole premise is to maximize the efficiency of every dollar that comes into your household.
You just described the whole banking system.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Let me teach you how to
Right.
become a great banker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I want you guys to get this. He said the amount of money that they're making on the money that they're borrowing is making more money than what they're paying for the interest on the money.
Right.
That's the banking system.
Exactly.
You know, you think about it. People put money in the bank where they get 0.25% interest.
Right. Right.
And the bank is lending it out at 5 and 6%.
Exactly.
You know, in some cases,
Exactly.
the greatest trick on earth.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's good stuff. So the book is actually what's the title of the book?
The title of the book is "Make Your Money Great."
Making Money Great Again.
Right. Well, yeah, right. I should have done. Yeah, it's basically, you know, the reason why it was "Make Your Money Great Again," but some of us never had money.
Well, yeah, this is true.
So in this book, it's not just about what to do with your money.
Right.
I'm gonna show you how to make money as
make
well.
money,
And
yes.
these are things that all of us can do.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, you gave a lot of nuggets, man. You gave a lot of information. I have to say, you know, I pride myself on having a show that's you know, a great value add for people. And, you know, I have to thank you again for being such a valued asset to a lot, myself. I mean, I learned a lot today. But to have the information that you shared on a platform like this,
Right.
I want people to really know that it's valuable information and they should really take advantage of a lot of the stuff you said.
Exactly.
This is a show that I'm going to probably go back and watch 2 or 3 times. And I would advise you guys to watch it 5 or 6 times because I understand a lot of the stuff that you were talking about. You know, because, you know, I've been an entrepreneur for some time.
Right.
But it's going to be people that watch this that may not have a clue
Right.
of what you're talking about. And I implore you guys to go back and watch this over and over again so you can really understand the nuggets that, you know, understand the value of the information. I mean, you gave a multi-million-dollar way of doing business
Right.
in an hour.
Right.
You know, and I want make sure people know how to contact you and how they can get, you know, become a part of your course. And remember, guys, he said that if you watch this show, I should say, I want to make sure they watch the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. You have to watch the whole.
Those people coming in and watching the last 2 minutes and taking advantage of the whole course. But no, he said that you guys, you know, describe to them again how you're going to incentivize them for watching the show.
Well, you have
they
to,
can actually.
You can either email me, private message me, or either text me. What do you want the name to be? Yeah, you have to put in the name Glenn. You have to put in the name Glenn.
Okay.
And then
or real life real estate investing.
You know, I like that even better.
Yeah.
Real life real estate investing. Put that in. When you can just text it to me. Text it to 404-330-4501. And then on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, at Pretty House Guy. And then you can find me. If you want to email me, it's my first name is idris@makeyourmoneygreat.com.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, this has been phenomenal, man. And I can't emphasize, like, I'm just excited sitting here, man, thinking about the stuff that you shared. I can't wait to go watch this again.
Right.
I appreciate you being on the show. It's been a long time coming. This will not be the last time we do this.
Oh, most definitely.
You know,
right.
I'm thinking about having this be, you know, a show that we do for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
No, I love it, man.
But, you know, I appreciate you coming on, sharing what you know, sharing your knowledge, sharing your information. And, I mean, it's been a great value add to the show. And I certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. All right. Guys, listen, this has been a Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. Don't sleep on this information. I want to make sure you guys, again, know about the event that we got coming up. Catalyst is going to be October 9th. Wonder Women of Real Estate is going to be October 13th. I just had another idea while we're here. I had another idea before we end the show. Don't forget, we're actually hosting Master the Money Game January 19th. Master the Money Game coming up January 19th. I think I'm going to put Idris on the spot. Will you be a guest speaker at Master the Money Game?
That's a great day, too. It's my mom's birthday.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So, Mom, if you're watching, please forgive him for the McDonald's.
Oh, one shout out. I need to say happy birthday to my daughter. She turns 4 years old today. Happy
okay,
birthday
good. So, listen, thanks for watching, and we're going to lock him down for January 19th. Check out Master the Money Game. We'll make sure you guys get that information. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you next week.